First of all, thank you all for coming. The purpose today is to have a summit, or you might consider it a forum, to address the issue of proposed changes to I-70 east of I-25. So I think what we're trying to do here today is to address some issues that one could today say were a mistake 50 years ago, without being critical of, I said, of our predecessors, but recognizing that some changes need to be made to deal with current times and to deal with the current character of urban development patterns, neighborhoods, and ultimately changing some of these freeways back into the boulevards that they were before they were freeways, and contributing to a better fabric of life in our urban style. So that's really what we're here to talk about today. There have been plans contemplated, undertaken, advanced. I think we're all well aware of that. There are some suggested alternatives. I think we want to talk about that today. But it's intended to be a forum, a dialogue, an opportunity to express opinions, ideas, thoughts, concerns, and not necessarily to attack things one way or the other, but to make it all thoroughly aired. And we've got an impressive group of speakers who are lined up today to help us discuss these issues and put some thoughts out for us all to talk about. We began, in fact, this first portion of today's program hearing about neighborhood concerns and about the impacts on schools and on services that was addressed by Armando. We also heard about the impacts on property values from Steve, and how those are impacted by roadways, and a particular roadway in question in this instance. That led us to look at some evaluation of the costs, and whether from a public perspective we're being prudent with our money, and whether the costs for these alignments of I-70 or realignments of I-70 have been in fact thoroughly and properly evaluated, and whether they're accurate, because that's everybody's money we're talking about. We looked in turn at the adequacy of the EIS, which Jane spoke to after Cynthia had addressed the cost questions, and whether there's a balanced assessment of the environmental impacts of the alternatives, and if they've been really thoroughly assessed. And we closed by hearing Bob tell us very much about the health impacts of highways and the consequences of highways in dense urban areas. Dean just gave us a terrific presentation on issues of feasibility and design of a boulevard. He spoke to the issue of a comprehensive plan to take into account transit, bikes, pedestrian, and automobiles, and no freeway at all. We saw the benefits of that. Peter earlier gave us some perspective on the basis for projections, forecasting, the questionable basis for some of the forecasts in question, and very importantly spoke to the seemingly natural redistribution of traffic through space, time, and mode, which addresses exactly how critical a freeway truly is. Peter Park, in introducing John Norquist, made the very clear statement that there's never been the removal of a freeway that had any bad consequences. And John Norquist gave us some terrific examples of corrections of, one would say, freeway mistakes, and gave us some advice on rebuilding I-70. With some very guarded wisdom, being a true politician, simply said it would be monumentally stupid.